and welcome back to another episode of Let's Bark About It. Today we have a very special guest. We have Dr. Calli Thompson from Northwestern Veterinary Hospital. Thank you, Calli, for being with us here today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
Glad to have you back. So we have a number of questions that we're going to go through today, just sort of to inform the public, and then we have some questions from some of our viewers that have submitted via our Facebook page. So we'll jump right into it.
Okay.
The first topic that I wanted to talk to you about was vaccinations. So how often should one vaccinate their cat or their dog, and does it matter if they're indoor or outdoor animals?
So that's a really great question. The answer is not cookie cutter or straightforward. And what we've really seen happen within veterinary medicine over the last, I'd say 5 to 10 years, is instead of a cookie cutter approach where every pet gets the same vaccines regardless of their lifestyle or what they do and where they go, we're trying to tailor our vaccine protocols to really what the risks are for those animals based on what their lifestyle is. Are they an indoor pet? Are they an outdoor pet? Do they stay in Thunder Bay or Northwestern Ontario, or do they travel outside of the area? Because your lifestyle really dictates what diseases you're going to be exposed to. So with all vaccines and with cats and dogs alike, there are what we call core vaccines and there are lifestyle vaccines. So core vaccines, an easy way to think about them is it doesn't matter with those vaccines what your lifestyle is. They're either diseases that can be brought into the house by people or other pets, or they're vaccines like rabies vaccine, which is required by law in Ontario, regardless of what your lifestyle is like. So that applies to both cats and dogs. Okay, those are what core vaccines are. Lifestyle vaccines are vaccines and diseases that essentially we only worry about if you travel or if you partake in certain activities. So for example, if you lived downtown Toronto and you were a Chihuahua and you walked, around the city block in the concrete jungle, you're probably not going to be at risk of picking up ticks, right? Mm-hmm. Because ticks don't do well in a concrete jungle like that. But in Northwestern Ontario and in Thunder Bay, if you have a dog that you hunt with and you enjoy going camping and spending time in the bush, we know that there are ticks in this area and we know that there's Lyme's disease in this area. So that would be a case of two separate pets that based on their lifestyle and based on where they live are really going to be vaccinated differently for a disease like Lyme's disease.
So for your core vaccines, how often do you recommend that you get your pet your core vaccines? Is that yearly or?
For some of them they can be, and for others they're every 3 years. So what really is important, I think, to take out of the vaccine conversation is it's a conversation that needs to be had between the pet owner and the veterinarian. That pet owner really has to share with us details about where I go with my pet, what I do with my pet, what my pet's lifestyle is like. And based on that information, the veterinarian is going to recommend, okay, these are vaccines that I think we need to look at and work with, and this is how frequently they need to be done. So some rabies vaccines are 1-year vaccines, other rabies vaccines are 3-year vaccines, and figuring out which protocol to follow really depends on which type of vaccine you're using and what your pet's lifestyle is.
Okay, great. So another question, this is really common, is my dog is eating grass daily. So why would this be the case, and why do animals eat grass? Because I know both cats and dogs do.
Yeah, so this is a great question, and I don't have a great answer for you, unfortunately. It's something that actually as a veterinarian I get asked all the time. And the answer is we really don't know why. As a veterinary community, but as a greater scientific community as a whole, there's been many, many different hypotheses in terms of why animals do it. One of the hypotheses that I know is out there that has been disproven is that animals are eating grass because there's something that they need in their diets that they're not getting. And that's actually been really disproven. Okay. So even the poorest quality cat food or dog food that's available out there on the market is formulated to be able to give that pet what they need in terms of vitamins and minerals, okay? So it's not a deficiency per se in terms of what's driving it. There are some animals that we think do it because they just really like what it tastes like. They seem to really enjoy grass. There are other theories out there that there are microbials, almost if you think about probiotics, that are in the grass and that animals need for digestive properties. And so maybe if their stomachs are a little bit upset and that proper microbial balance that you should normally have is a bit off, maybe it's the body's way of saying, hey, you need to get more of that into me because maybe my tummy's a little bit off or a little bit upset, and it's a way to reset the balance. But we don't know a definitive answer for that question.
The final one is the most common theory that I've heard and have been told.
Yeah, grass really, if your cat or your dog ate an excessive amount of it, it could possibly cause an obstruction, and that would be a bad reason or it could cause a problem. But for the most part, grass seems to be relatively safe and relatively well tolerated. But again, if it's anything that you're worried about or it's a new change that you've seen with your animal, discuss it with your vet. And they might have some different ideas based on what they think is going on with your pet.
Okay. So hairballs.
Yes.
Long-haired cat bringing up hairballs quite often. Why is this happening?
Yeah, so we used to think it was really benign. We used to think it was normal for cats in general, and it seems to be more of an issue with long-haired cats than with short-haired cats, for them to at times vomit up hairballs. And I think the really underlying stress that I'd want to put on that conversation is, what are we calling frequently and what are we calling infrequently? If it's something that was happening 1 or 2 times a year, I don't think I would get overly excited about it. But if it's happening on a daily basis, yes, that is something as a veterinarian that I'm concerned about. What literature and science has sort of showed us is that animals that are vomiting very frequently, specifically cats that are doing that on a daily basis or on an every second day basis, are at a much higher risk as they get older to go on and develop some pretty serious gastrointestinal diseases. So in a lot of ways, it might be kind of the first warning sign or an early warning sign of something more serious on the horizon. So if it's happening frequently enough, if it's happening on a daily basis or even multiple times a week, I think it would be something very important to discuss with your veterinarian. And they can lead you down, the appropriate path based on what they feel is going on.
Okay. Second question is human fruits and vegetables. A lot of people have different ideas as to what's healthy for a dog. Can you give some examples of some healthy fruits and vegetables as an option to treat?
So I think before you decide that you're going to or you want to give any human food, vegetables, meat products, fruit, to your pet, it's really important to discuss or make a list of that and bring it into your vet and talk to him or her about it, right? Because there are things like, for example, grapes that are quite a healthy snack for you and I, but are incredibly toxic to animals. So just as a general statement, make sure if there's anything you are thinking about giving, you discuss it with your vet first. But that being said, fruits and vegetables can be great alternatives to dog treats and dog cookies. They can be healthier options and they can be lower calorie options. Greens is, I think, a great example. So I know quite a few of our clients have dogs that love celery, or they love lettuce because it's crunchy. Romaine lettuce is really crunchy, and those are healthy.
Apples.
Very safe. Yeah.
My dog loves apples.
Yeah. So those are also really quite safe. The one thing I would say I'd watch with fruit is that some fruit seems to be quite a bit higher in sugars than others are, right? Something that you and I, as even humans looking at a healthy diet, have to watch for. So if you had a pet that maybe had a weight problem or a pet that you were concerned has a tendency to gain weight, you might want to stay away from the higher sugar fruits and stay more towards the not as sweet, but maybe more healthy fruit options if your dog or cat enjoys them.
Okay. So other than grapes, is there any other toxics that you can think of?
Off the top of my head, not right now that fall into that category, but there are some in the vegetable category. That you want to be aware of. So again, really a good discussion with your veterinarian about these are things my dog really likes. Can I give them on a daily basis? And are there any underlying health issues that my pet has that maybe would make this fruit or this vegetable not so much of an healthy option?
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, this is a great question. I have an outdoor cat personally, so I wanted to know the answer to this one. My cat likes to hunt and eat mice. Are there any diseases or problems that I should be aware of with him doing this?
So probably the two most common things that I see as a veterinarian for those outdoor cats that are avid hunters and also like to enjoy what they hunt. One is there is a risk of parasite transmission. So fleas are something that can be brought into the house. If the mouse or the rat that your cat was hunting had fleas, those fleas can be transferred from the rodent to your cat. So that's one risk.
Okay.
The other risk would be internal parasites, things like worms.
Right.
And so if your outdoor cat is ingesting the mice, that's a very easy way to pick up an intestinal parasite. And usually what we'll recommend to owners is that if you have an outdoor cat that enjoys those types of things, we probably want to use some type of flea preventative with them.
Okay.
And we probably also want to deworm them on a regular basis in case they are picking up parasites that way.
Perfect. Okay, we're going to take a short break.
For sure.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned.